We've recognised the need and set up an organisation that's purely tailored to meet that need. We really want to help those designers retain their creativity and through that driving a plan to monetise their talent.
Creating a beautiful collection and virtually making it yourself in London with a very small number of manufacturers to, having a business where you're doing runs of sort of 40s or 50s and having to manufacture it overseas, and it's a big leap.
Talent alone does not drive a business, and press and catwalk is fantastic to build brand equity, but it is not a demonstrative measure of a business.
Where CFE I think comes into its own is that it provides a home, a base for the next generation of truly talented young designers to get some really valuable business and mentoring support at a critical stage in the development of their labels. I don't know of any other organisation in this country that provides this level of support.
I think that a lot of the things that happen at the CFE are things that are setting you up for the future in a way.
It's everything that happens between the show and between the collections. You have to be really open-minded and willing to take the support.
It's weird for designers or people coming out of school or up-and-coming people to realise that you have to be a business. If you show things on schedule at London Fashion Week, people essentially will want to buy it, which means you are a business.
The moment you start showing a collection, you are putting it forward to your customer and to your client. So I think immediately that was the first transition. So it's not just about creating one dress.
Before, I'd always consider it myself personally. Like, I do embody the label, however, like it's not just the individual Jean-Pierre, it is like a business.
The CFE has quite a significant impact on my business and the way that I work. Being in the studios that are in the LCF building has kind of led me to have more of a structure, if you like, in the way that I approach both my design and the way that we run the business in general, which helped me sort of gain more focus and actually helped me free up more time for myself outside of work.
I think the CFE has helped us not to be just the flavor of the month. I mean, I think they really kind of support you on the long term.
It's made us think about business more as a business rather than like an art.
I think it's about making sure that you meet everyone who's at the CFE at the time they're at, because those are friendships and I guess relationships that will last.
I think if I hadn't went on and worked with them, I'm not sure I would be here, because in a way they're so imperative in like changing me from being a person in a studio, monster in a way, to go from being a maker into a designer of the business. It just wouldn't happen.
Probably because the people that are running it aren't scary.
They pluck things out of you that they can see and you can't.
It had a major impact in actually turning this thing into a company, a proper company.
It's a foundation, something to build something on that actually can survive.
And that's quite a unique experience and a kind of unique thing to find, I think, sort of not just in the UK but internationally. There's not a lot of things that are like this that foster people and allow them to kind of incubate their businesses in this way.
I think it's really important to recognise that the fashion industry is about people. It's about amazing people, it's about talented people, and it's about putting people together.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what we do. You heard our designers telling you about the support that they've received, and what we do is really very simple. All it is about helping designers do business. So the designers come to us, they have huge creativity, but often they don't really understand the business side, and what they want to do is design. So all we do is help them with the business so that they can do what they do, which is, and what they want to do, which is design and create. We've been doing it now for 10 years. Last year was our 10th anniversary and we made the film to celebrate the party. We had a fabulous party at the Dorchester Hotel in London, got all the designers together, and it was really an opportunity for us to say thank you to them for enabling us to run the CFE, because without the designers we really wouldn't be anything. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we do it and the journey. So we really are the pioneering incubator. The designers come to us with incredible ideas. And we work with designers in business, so we don't work with startups. So designers have to come to us with a business. They're in business, maybe at an early stage, and we give them the tools to succeed as a business. We've worked with over 300 designers. In fact, we've worked with more than 300 designers. This year we will have worked, this year alone, with 85 businesses just in this first year, and we support the businesses across different programs. So I keep saying this, I know, but without the creative talent, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, which is help them. So it's a picture of Christopher Raven here. He's a very successful designer that came to us at the early stage in his business. He's now creative director at Victorinox. He does that alongside running his own business. He's also won various different export awards that actually you might hear a little bit about later. Through UKFT, and he's designed collections for Montclair as well. So we really do work with the cream of the emerging talent coming out of London. I don't know how familiar you are with some of these names, but they all started with us. Mary Katransu, when she came to us, she was a designer that arrived at our building saying she wanted help. She had a press release, and on the press release she had some orders. It was her final graduation collection, and she'd been showing that, her graduation collection, and she had lots of people wanting to buy it. And I think she had £35,000 worth of orders just written on the back of a piece of paper. And she came to us saying, "Oh my God, I really didn't expect this to happen, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Can you help?" And that's what we did. Now, 3 years later, Mary has a global business. She has over 350 global stores and a business turning over more than £10 million. Medium Kirchhoff, again, they have a global business. Peter Pilotto, again, huge. They came to us. They had just a few designs that we were showing. There was something about what they were doing that we thought they were very, very talented, and we wanted to get behind and help them. And this year they've done their first collaboration with Target in the US, it is a really, really huge thing for designers to work with Target. It's the opportunity to get huge amounts of money into your business through collaboration with a big US brand. Again, they have global stockists worldwide and are huge award winners. J.W. Anderson, he's a designer that's now had investment into his business through LVMH. They've now bought a minority share in his business. He started working with us literally just after graduation, after he first started his business, and he had a handful of stores. I think the message is that it is really possible to succeed in business and grow a successful fashion business, but you really, really need to know about business, and it's not just about being creative. So a little bit about our program. So this is how we help the designers through the programs that we have. Our new market entry program, we do this as a weekend workshop. We've just done one last weekend, and we supported 45 businesses last weekend over 2 days, and it's sort of a bit like a boot camp. So it's a really intense 2-day introduction into lots of different areas of business, from planning, finance, accountancy, range planning, costing, pricing, production, all the things that you need to know. And even if you do know them, it's sometimes good to go back and have a look. You can never ever stop learning in this business, and you need to be looking and refining all the time. So we get professional speakers in that know us, that we've been working with it for a while, and they'll just come in and talk to you and talk to the designers about their different aspects and their expertise. So everyone from Google, buyers at Liberty, Harvey Nichols, Financial Times, Sunday Times, various different accounting businesses will come in and talk to you about business and how to do it. This is Regina. She had a good experience. She's now showcasing at London Fashion Week. She actually worked outside in industry before she came to start her own business. So she worked for Roxanda Linkchik and also for Christopher Rayburn. So she had a good grounding externally working with other businesses before she then started her own. And she's now on the journey with her business. She showed at London Fashion Week in February this year, which was her first presentation. So we're actually going to be interviewing her again for one of our further programmes. Georgia Harding, she's done a very, very nice collaboration, very nice with River Island, which we helped her with, and we helped her with the contract and negotiate the contract with River Island. The collaboration was very successful and it's now in its second season. So the Fashion Pioneer Programme, that's for designers who've been in business for 6 months, from 6 months up to a year, generally 5 or more stockists, and a revenue of between 10 and 50,000. So it really is very early stage businesses, often designers who have come straight from college, a mixture of deciding they wanted to start a business or really have fallen into business thinking, oh, this is a good idea, actually don't want to go and work for anyone else, I want to work for myself, and I'm going to start a business. Or they've shown their graduation collection and they've had huge interest and people have wanted to buy it, so they've sort of suddenly find that they've sort of got a business without thinking about it. The picture on the right is a really, really interesting young menswear designer called Craig Green that we are now working with on our later stage programme. If you get a copy of GQ Style, the latest issue, there's a fabulous article featuring him in there. Very interesting creative designer, but understands business, starting to understand it, and has a handful of key stores. He really does understand brand building and brand positioning and where he wants his brand to be positioned. So he's selling through Dover Street Market, which is the high-end boutique based in London, selling very high-end curated brands. So he's in Dover Street Market in London, also in New York, which the New York store opened earlier this year, and in Japan as well. So the designers on the Pioneer Programme is a mixture of bespoke and one-to-one mentoring, individual tailored support. It's really important with what we do is all about the individual business. Every business is different and people learn in different ways. So you can't just have that one glove fits all approach. It has to be about being there at the right time to help the business. Lots of things apply in generic ways, but businesses are very individual. I think the important thing about the fashion business is, and having a fashion business is, it's a very, very circuitous route. It's a sort of a wobbly line to get here. It's not just a linear route. And particularly now, with the advance of digital, businesses are changing and the nature of businesses are changing, and the way people do things and the way people are raising income, finance, all sorts of different things is changing, and you have to think outside the box. The original method of selling wholesale for 2 seasons or even 4 seasons, it's starting to become a little bit old-fashioned, and it's very, very hard to run a business if you're actually only selling for 2 seasons. Spring, summer and autumn, winter causes huge problems in terms of finance, how you're going to fund your production. So really do have to think outside the box. So for us, individual tailored support is the way that helps the businesses move forward faster. So this is the lovely Simone. I don't know if any of you are familiar with her brand, but Simone is the designer that has grown quite rapidly, and she's now one of the finalists from the final, she's in the final 10 for the LVMH award. So LVMH are now really interested in young designer brands. They want to know the landscape of what's happening. They're actually looking for new brands to invest in, to build new luxury brands, and they're looking for the designers of the future who are going to be the creative directors and head up the luxury houses when the designers move on. She's been now shortlisted 2,000 entrants for the LVMH award, and they shortlisted from 30 down to 10. And in the 30 designers that were shortlisted out of the 2,000, 10 of them were designers based in London, and 9 of them are designers that have all been supported by the CFE. So we're really, really proud of them. So with two designers that were supported still left, Simone and Thomas Tate, and they're now in the final 10, and they will get the results in May. And so we're really, really excited, and we're helping Thomas, who's going back to present his business plan, and we're working with him on that. So down to the final 10, someone's got to win, and it's £300,000 into their business, and also mentoring from LVMH. So it's very exciting. J.W. Anderson, again, he's the designer that actually has investment already. So he's got minority investment into his business from Kering, and he's gone on to be creative director of Loewe. So these are the kind of things that can happen once your business is growing, your profile has been raised, you're out in the press, people are seeing what you're doing, you get approaches. People want to work with you for consultancy, collaborations, and it's a brilliant way of raising your profile for your own brand, also your own personal profile, getting money into the business, but also learning. It gives you the opportunity to make contacts, to learn how to do other things, how to work with larger corporations, and it can add value to your own brand in all sorts of different ways. It can give you opportunities to develop manufacturing links and all sorts of different things. So it really, really is added value. The bigger you get, the more seen you are, the more that you seem to be doing well. People and other brands are always interested, and they're always looking out for you, because they want to get value off the back of your popularity. So this is our two-year program. We support designers on site. So we're based in Hackney, in the East End of London, and we have 6 units in our building. It's a very, very, very tatty, scruffy-looking building, and very old-fashioned. But it's a very, very exciting place to be, and there's lots and lots of work goes on there. We have visitors wanting to see what we do all the time, and sometimes I'm embarrassed to take them in to show them, because the building is so messy and it's so scruffy. But for me, if there's no mess and no scruff, it means no one's doing any work. So really, the scruffier it is, it's better, because I know they're getting on and they're doing stuff. So this is for businesses a little bit more developed, with a revenue of over £50,000, and then they've been operating for 2 years. Now, saying that, we do sometimes work with designers who don't have a revenue of over 50,000, and that's because we recognise and see something that we think is really, really, really about talent. And one of the designers that we supported in this way is a young designer called Thomas Tate, and Thomas Tate has now been shortlisted for the LVMH award. He's down to the final 10, and he only started his business 2.5 years ago. And when we saw his show, there was just something really, really special about what he was doing. He did a show in the East End of London. Everything went wrong. The lights broke. I think there was a storm. People couldn't get there. It was delayed by 45 minutes. Everyone was waiting outside. But when we got in and we sat down and we saw what he was doing, we just saw something really, really special. He won the Dorchester Prize. It was the first prize that the Dorchester Hotel put on to sponsor young designers, and he won £25,000, and that really helped him build his business. And when he won the Dorchester Prize, he was quite surprised. He hadn't expected to win it. He really, was just at the very start of his journey, but he was very passionate and knew exactly what he wanted to do. And when he was interviewed from winning the prize, he's from Canada, but he's based in London. And they said, he must be so happy that now he can go back home. And he said, yes, I'm so pleased. It really is important. I really want to go back home, and I need to be able to go back home, and I didn't have any money. And they thought he was talking about going back home to Canada. Actually, what he meant was he was going back home to Hackney on the bus. So he really didn't have any money. And so just really to point out, being in the fashion business is a tough business. You have to have a lot of passion, a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and you have to have talent. So it's 2-year in depth. We give them free studio space. So they're in our studio space for 2 years. Free legal support, really, really important to help with contracts, trademark registration. We get the designers trademark registered for Europe. The community trademark, they get that registered for them within 6 months of them joining. Accountancy support. Often designers don't really know what accountancy means. They don't really understand. I've had designers come to me with a sort of, carry a bag full of bits of paper saying, what do I do with this? Also, designers coming to me with a letter saying, I haven't opened my post for a month. Should I be worried about this? And it's like, yep, you should be really worried about this, because if you don't sort this out now, you're going to be taken to court for non-payment. So business is really, really, really important. Without understanding business, you can't do the rest of it. We also pay for designers' PR fees. Very important. Young designers starting up, very small teams, maybe starting first with just themselves, then maybe a part-time business person to help them, interns, unpaid interns, so they can't do everything. And at that young stage, when what they do, everyone really wants a piece of it and wants to know, they need PR help. So we pay for their PR fees. So it means that they're not running around on the phone all the time trying to fight off stylists, you fight on, I want a piece for this magazine, that magazine, and this celebrity. And managing that is really important. So it's all part of managing their brand. So total package equals up to £120,000, partly cash. I think it's about £40,000 worth of actual cash into the business, and the equivalent in mentoring and free rental, phone, electricity, etc. So it's pretty good value. Lots of designers want to do this. We only support 10 designers for 2 years, and we're about to interview next week, in fact, designers. We have one more space. We're going to take another designer on this year. So this is Peter and Christopher, lovely Christopher and Peter, and they really are absolutely right. It can be all over if you don't manage the moment right. That's such a true word, and they really are speaking from the heart, from experience. They now have over 20 staff members, and they started with us, and it really was just the two of them, and a few orders and a few designs. And this is the lovely Mary, who she always talks, when she ever wins a prize, she always talks about the CFE, and one of the things that she talks is about cash flow. And that was one of the first things she learned, was how she was going to make her production work with her money coming in from her orders. So it might be great, you might go out and get, £50,000 worth of orders in your first season from selling, or £100,000 of orders, but that really means nothing unless you can make that money work to actually produce the collection, get the collection into the stores in time, and deliver. So without doing any of those things, you really, really don't have a business. And that was what we worked with Mary and helped her understand how to make the finances work. And Mary was militant. She did all her sales right from the word go. She sold to everyone. Now she has a sales team, but she sits there every season and she oversees that sales team. She wants to know what's coming into her business, and she absolutely is non-negotiable. So when she sits down with her customers and they say, we really want to buy your collection, she said, absolutely. If she thinks the store's right for her brand, she'll say yes, but she won't do it unless she gets a deposit. So unless she's got that 30% deposit, she won't take that order, because without that deposit, she won't be able to fund her production. So it's very, very important to understand the finance and understand how you're going to make the business work from the orders that you've got. So it's all about the business. And this is Holly, another designer that's exited now. She's in a new studio literally just over the road from us. Very, very strategic designer. We're now working with her on looking at getting investment into her business. This is our fourth program. We started that last year. We piloted it. It's for larger businesses, and it's about helping designers understand what investment needs, looking at investment and how to get investment into their business, and actually working out whether you want investment. Again, what I say is it's all about the individual business, and it's all about your vision and helping you with your personal vision. Not all businesses want to give up some of their business, and mostly with investment, getting investment into your business, someone's going to give you something, you've got to give them something. They want something, they're going to want some equity. So again, it's expert workshops, looking at strategic partnerships, the legal issues around it, financing options, and also how to pitch. Sometimes it'd be a little bit frightening for designers, spending all their time creating, doing that lovely, lovely creative stuff. So it was working with the designers, helping them pitch. And last year we had 10 designers pitching to angel investors and private investment groups. And they did a really, really, really amazing job. They were probably much more professional than I was. So this is one of the designers. We had some awards. Two of the designers won £10,000. Katie Rowland, she won £10,000 prize put up by one of the investment groups. And what she's done is she has used that money to set up her own online store. So we're really excited. She's in the process of that now, and she's about to start selling online. So she had a successful wholesale business that she'd grown. But when we very first worked with Katie, she had about 5 or 6 different ranges of jewellery. And she was going, I don't really know what to do. I've just got all these ideas. I've got this collection, this collection, this collection. And we were just going, it looks amazing, but I'm tired already. I'm exhausted. I don't know what if I was a buyer, am I going to buy from this, buy from that, buy from this? It's very confusing. So we helped her put a proper range together and really concentrated her collections into, rather than 6 different ranges, she actually had 3 different ranges. And we looked at the customer that she was selling to. So it was just about the strategy and just making some minor changes that helped the buy and the buyers, make it easy for the buyers to buy. They knew who they're buying for, they knew who their customer was and who that person was, who they were buying for, and just made the journey a lot easier. It made her understand what she was doing, and it made it easier to sell. So she's really doing well, and we're very excited to see the launch of her online business. Obviously, if you're selling direct to the consumer, your margins are much, 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 much better. So we're always encouraging designers to look at new and different ways of doing business, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be the traditional way. We have a couple of... Oh, have I lost the sound? No. Can you all hear me? I seem to have lost sound. Yeah. Yeah? Okay. A couple of designers who are Spanish designers. They had a denim brand. They had a delivery from the factory. The delivery was all wrong. The colour of the denim was horrible. What they did was over-dyed all the denim, and then they sold it individually online, socially, through social media. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. If I just switch this off, do you think? Well, I'll just have to shout loudly. We're sort of coming to the end now. But we've the venture designers, the designers on our 2-year program since 2007 generated sales in excess of 20 million. So they're doing well. 40% of the businesses leave with sales in excess of £500,000, thank you, with sales in excess of £500,000, and 25% of the businesses leave with sales in excess of £1 million. So between the both of us, we're sort of starting to do something right. They're international award winners. Peter and Christopher here, they win sort of L-Style Awards, Scottish Fashion Awards. There's Thomas in the middle with his Dorchester Prize, and JW on the right-hand side, British Fashion Award, and there's Mary, winner of the Swiss Textile Awards. These awards actually help. It's good to apply for awards, help for profile raising, and sometimes you get cash. So when Mary won the Swiss Textiles Award, I think she got 25,000 euros into her business, and Thomas got 25 grand. So that really helped him, and it also helped Mary. Regularly featured in the fashion press, just UK and also globally. And we're not just local now, we are global. We have an international arm to what we do. We're the UK's only fashion incubator, but we work globally now. It's income generates for the organisation, and we learn about how to do business in different countries and how to help different countries grow their own designers there. It's all about helping designers prepare their businesses really for internationally. The designer on the right, he was a ready-to-wear designer in Indonesia, had a very, very successful business, private client business, turning over £1 million, very, very successful, but wanted to develop a ready-to-wear line. So we worked with him to help him do that. He now shows on the runway in Paris on schedule. It was first on schedule show last February, and he's now growing his ready-to-wear business. So that's been very, very exciting for us. So he's now known outside Indonesia and is developing an international ready-to-wear line. So we've been doing this now for 10 years. But we really, really couldn't do it alone. So it's really not about us, it's about the designers, and our success is judged by how successful they are. And we're doing lots of new things, starting to work in new countries now, and working with new designers. But the important thing is, just summing up, is to say that you always have to look at what you're doing and refine it all the time, because things change all the time. The nature of the fashion businesses change all the time, particularly with technology and digital coming along now, and there are always different ways of doing stuff. So never, ever, ever think you aren't there to learn, because we're learning every single day. And so thank you very much for inviting me. I hope I haven't gone on too much. I won't take any questions now, but I am going to be around over the next 2 days. So please, if you see me, feel free to come and ask me questions. I'd be quite happy to answer them. Thank you.